antique pistols are really fascinating to me, especially as far as flintlocks go, because these were self-defense weapons in a dangerous time, and sometimes they were kept in coat pockets or used on horseback or in a wagon. But these were close quarters combat self-defense weapons, definitely in the 18th century and in the 19th century. And when you see the antique ones that are really beat up bad, it really makes you wonder what kind of awesome stories came along with it. This is one of my favorites right here. This was an American-made gun it's stocked in curly maple, but it uses English parts, kind of recycled English parts, such as the brass barrel, and it has a sweet copper repair to the wrist, which makes you think that somebody got whacked over the head with this thing. And this was a real deal frontier pistol that was carried by a frontiersman. We know who this belonged to. This belonged to a guy named William Dyer, and he lived here in the Greenbrier Valley, and he fought at the Battle of Point Pleasant, and presumably he would have had this with him, and it looks like it saw some use, saw some combat. And this stayed in his family until modern times. And this is probably one of the coolest pistols I've ever seen, and really is important to me because it's, it may be the only pistol that we can trace back to not only the Greenbrier Valley, but the Battle of Point Pleasant. Just really cool. Other neat pistols. This is a James Barbour English pistols, and of course they made some of the finest pistols in England. This is a silver mounted. It's got the gargoyle face, as was common in the 18th century. Flintlock, silver mounted, all silver hardware on it. And because it's silver a lot of times has maker's marks on them. And if you look at the silver maker marks, you can look up a chart and see exactly when they were made. And this particular piece was made by James Barbour in 1754. And he is really one of the, many people think he was the finest English gunsmith finest gunsmith of the 18th century. And he was I don't know what they call it, but both he and his father were the royal gunsmiths for the king and queen, for the royal family. And still today in Windsor Castle, you can see some awesome examples of Barbour pistols. And this was found at a flea market in Florida. So just really a cool story. Here's another English 18th century pistol. This is called a Queen Anne screw barrel. So this is early to mid 18th century. And these were popular, hence the name Queen Anne. And it was during the Queen Anne period of the English monarchy. And these were popular pistols for self-defense, to stick in your coat pocket. Obviously all of these were one-shot or deals, but it had a little tool that would meet that lug, and you'd screw the barrel off and basically load it at the breech, screw the barrel back on. So it didn't come with a ramrod or anything like that. But these things were just really decorative pieces. Again, it's got that gargoyle face on the pistol, or on the butt of the grip. And this is just a really beautiful one. Here's an American-made one, Flintlock, made in Philadelphia by Getz. You can see because the gold that says Getz Philadelphia is, just like silver, it wears really well. And this has been through something. This is somewhat of a relic, American flintlock pistol, and it's seen some things. I don't know exactly what it's seen. It's got a checkered grip on it. And it's got, looks like some iron hardware. Just a really cool piece. And it looks like it might have been rifled. It's hard to tell now. Let's see. Now here's a big. This is kind of what they would call a horse pistol. For like dragoons. They got they're riding their horse and they got their big pistols, and holsters, and you know, they pull it out, and I don't know what the bore is on that. It's huge though, but you know, they're kind of known as horse pistols, and they're just big, massive. You weren't sticking this in your pocket. This was made to go in a holster, hence the name horse pistols. And this is like something that a German Hessian soldier would have had during the American Revolutionary War. And, you know, probably that may be where this came from, is this was a war trophy off a German Hessian soldier. And just a really cool Rev War era, big, huge horse pistol. Really like that one. Here's another English. They call these box locks because you can see it's got the lock mechanism directly in the center, and really nice wire inlay on this one. Again, you got a silver gargoyle on the pistol. You got the English proof marks there, and they call these kind of a cannon barrel. And again, it's got the lug to unscrew it like a Queen Anne. But I believe this is a little bit later, still 18th century. And this was made by Bunny. I don't remember exactly what the date of the guy was. I looked it up one time. But he's got his name engraved on there, Bunny. And just an English gunsmith. There was a bunch of them. But this one just survived really well. But this is just a great, you know, pocket self-defense piece. I just noticed, if you look at the hammer, look how it's engraved even. Just a really, really well-decorated piece. And then you have these, this is one of my favorites, just an Appalachian Southern, kind of like a squirrel pistol. It's got a smooth bore, small caliber, and this is from the percussion era. But this is just really, really like a cool homemade looking curly maple stock. Looks like a Southern squirrel rifle kind of, but it's a pistol. And just really neat. It's got a pewter right there. Not a whole lot to it, pretty basic. It's got some checkering down there on the grip. Let's see. Here's a nice little cannon barrel pistol. Look at that. It's got some wire inlay on it. Got silver mountings. And this is made by an American gunsmith, William Antes, very well known. It's a real nice little pocket pistol, 18th century. And being an American made one, really utilizing the British design. Pretty cool. Well, I think that's about all of them that I drug out, but you know, again, there's just something really cool about pistols, and just remember, when you see these old pistols and they're really beat to hell. Oh, here's one. This was made by a Moravian, what was his name? Johan Fischer, and I think he was Hungarian. It was made for like the Turkish market, probably. Look at that. I mean, 18th century, was like early to mid 18th century. And this is just a really cool one, even to turn up in America. And it's all signed and everything. And this saw some action as well. All right, well, until next time, check out our website, scavengeology.com.